Oh, here we go. I think I could even back up a little. Okay. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Midland's multi-platform worship service. Our service today is titled, For Such a Time as This, led by our minister, Reverend Eric Severson. My name is Suzanne Peterson and I am your worship associate for today's service. For those joining online, please type into the chat box who you are and who you have brought with you today. We will be recording this service, but personal sharing will be edited out. For those here in person, please silence your phones. Unitarian Universalism is a welcoming and inclusive religion. It encourages us to keep open hearts and minds because our own experience, conscience, and reason are the final authorities in religion. It affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person and that we are all connected to each other and the earth. A special welcome to all visitors today, whether you ambled in, walked in briskly, wheeled in, or tuned in online. We appreciate you spending some of your Sunday morning with us. If you have any questions, please let us know in person, in the chat box, by phone, or through our Facebook page. If you have not already done so, please be sure to sign our guest book as you leave today so that we may provide you with more information about our fellowship. If you are considering becoming a member of the fellowship, please contact our minister, Reverend Eric Severson, our office administrator, Wendy Altmeyer, or let us know of your interest in person, in the chat box, or on the visitor sign-in sheet. If you have a chalice or candle at home and would like to join in our chalice lighting remotely, now would be a good time to get that ready. Please see today's bulletin insert, your candle flame newsletter, the UUFOM News Facebook group, or uufom.org for all the latest news, upcoming events, and sign-up links. Our opening words today are by Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams from her book titled, Our Time is Now, Power, Purpose, and the Fight for a Fair America. There she wrote, "We are strongest when we see the most vulnerable in our society, bear witness to their struggles, and then work to create systems to make it better."
Thank you, Suzanne. Please join in reading now our chalice lighting words attributed to the superheroes Spider-Man, Green Lantern, and the Human Torch, and compiled by the Reverend Dr. Cynthia Landrum. Mindful that with great power comes great responsibility, we light this chalice in the hopes that in brightest day, in blackest night, our faith will flame on. Thank you all. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit to join me in singing a cappella with your masks on, please. Our opening hymn, number 397, Morning Has Come. It's a pretty simple tune. We'll sing it multiple times. So please repeat after me. Repeat after me. Morning has come. Morning has come. Night is away. Night is away. Rise with the sun. Rise with the sun. And welcome the day. And welcome the day. All together. Morning has come, night is away, rise with the sun and welcome the day. Again, morning has come, night is away, rise with the sun and welcome the day. One more time. Morning has come, night is away, rise with the sun and welcome the day. Thank you all. Please be seated. I see no children with us today, but I will share this in the hopes that maybe there are some online, and I will speak to the hearts of those young at heart. So let me share this story, and let me ask the adults in the room what I would ask the children. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in superpowers? Well, this is today's story. Amelia and Her Super Magical Powers by Gail Sfar. This is a story of a young girl named Amelia. Amelia was fascinated by tales of people with superpowers, like Wonder Woman, or magic, like Harry Potter. She yearned to have powers like that so she could help people, like the boy who often she saw sitting alone at lunch, looking very sad. If I had magic powers, I could make him smile, she said to herself. Or like the kids who were being picked on in the school yard by an older girl. Ooh, superpowers would straighten her out fast. And whenever she walked past the old rundown park near her house, she imagined how magic powers could fix it up so kids had a place to play. One night, just as Amelia was about to fall asleep, a fairy godmother came into her room, of course, right? Hello, Amelia, she said. I'm here to help you. What have you been wishing for? Oh, said Amelia, please give me some super magic powers so I can make a difference. Well, said the fairy godmother, I'm happy to give you some magic, Amelia, but Oh, thank you, cried Amelia. And with that, she fell right to sleep. The next morning, when Amelia woke up, she remembered what had happened the night before. She jumped out of bed, eager to get going and test out her new superpowers. And she walked to school, and as she did so, she realized she'd forgotten to ask what she needed to do to release these powers. You know, say some magic words, give a high sign, or something else. But she decided she'd figure it all out as she went along. That day at lunch, she saw that same little boy sitting alone by himself at lunch, and she thought, let's try my magic. And she wiggled her fingers at him from a distance. Nothing. Maybe I need to be closer, she thought. So she walked closer to him, and he looked up at her. She couldn't help but give him a friendly smile. And when she did, his face beamed with his own smile. Ha! Thought Amelia, I really do have magic. Can I join you for lunch? She asked. Sure, he said, smiling even bigger. The two of them laughed and talked all during lunchtime. She learned his name was Bobby. He'd lost his father earlier in the year, and he and his mother had moved here after that. He didn't know anybody and was too shy to go up to kids and talk. Well, Amelia and Bobby became good friends, and Bobby smiled a lot from then on. One day soon after that, Amelia and Bobby were in the playground when they saw Karen, of course her name is Karen, bullying two younger kids by the swings. She'd read what to do about bullies, but she had never tried any of it before because she really wasn't sure she could do it. But now, with her superpowers, she was ready. Come on, Bobby, let's go get those kids. So she walked up to where Karen stood over the two children, and Amelia wiggled her fingers at her and said loudly, Karen, stop it right now. Come on, Dodie and Lou, come with Bobby and me. You're safe with us. After the four of them had left, Amelia told the two, if she bothers you again, just turn around and walk away. Act like you don't hear her. Don't show any emotion. And if she keeps on trying to hurt you, let Mr. Crenshaw in the office know. I'll go with you if you need me to. They did just as Amelia said, and Karen never bothered those kids again. Well, by now, Amelia was feeling pretty good about her super magic powers. How can I use them to fix up our old park, she wondered. Wiggling her fingers didn't work. She still didn't know any magic words. Maybe if I start working to clean it up, something will occur to me. And so she did. She took trash bags to the park and started picking up trash that had been left there. Before long, a couple of friends came by and asked what she was doing. "I'm fixing our park so we can play in it again." That sounded like a great idea to her friends, and they began to help. Soon other kids joined them. They picked up trash and pulled weeds and cleared out dead brush. Little by little, the park began to look better. When some of the parents saw the improvement, they decided to help. Some mowed the grass, others built picnic tables, and still others convinced the city to buy some new equipment. It was hard and it took many days, but they got their new park. When it was all done, the whole neighborhood had a picnic in their new park to celebrate it. After the picnic, Amelia fell exhausted into bed. She was just about asleep when the fairy godmother came back. "Oh, I'm so happy to see you," said Amelia. "I want to thank you for giving me all those super magic powers." "But I tried to tell you my wand was broken. I didn't give you any," said the fairy godmother. "You must have given me powers," protested Amelia. "How else could I have made Bobby happy, stopped a bully, and given our neighborhood a wonderful park?" The fairy godmother just smiled. "My dear, you did that because you possess 3 powers that you developed yourself: kindness, bravery, and determination. With those 3 things, you are making a difference." And with that, Amelia fell fast asleep. The end. In your hearts. Thank you. And in response, I share this prayer by the Reverend Barbara Hamilton Hallway. Let there be a quiet time among us. Spirit of life in us and around us, here is our chance, once again, to live like we wish the world would live. May we find within ourselves the courage to be who we are. May we know when it is time to listen and when it is time to speak. May we trust ourselves to be the ones to find the words that need to be said or do what needs to be done. May we trust one another and know there are many ways to go through life. May we know that though we cannot change some of what life gives us, we can choose how to deal with what we are given. We are coming into our power, and together we can make possible justice and love. We are all connected. We depend upon one another more than we know. We are one body. So be it. Blessed be. And amen. I invite you now to remain seated if you wish and to don your masks again to sing a very simple hymn titled "What We Need Is Here" by Boston Episcopal priest Reverend Amy McCreath. Its 5 words are the closing sentence of a Wendell Berry poem, "The Wild Geese." So let me don my mask. And I'm going to ask people to harmonize if you feel so moved. And I know we have several musicians here today, so I'm hoping that happens. But repeat after me, please. As I said, it's pretty simple. It's more a chant than a hymn. What we need is here. What we need is here. What we need is here. So 2 lines. Let's sing them both. What we need is here. What we need is here. And let's just keep doing that, and we'll keep going, and people will add harmony as they feel moved. What we need is here. 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 One more time. What we need is here. What we need is here. Thank you all.
Our reading this morning is The Power of Conferring a Blessing by Marilynne Robinson. Her novel, Gilead, takes the form of a letter or journal that a dying or elderly Congregationalist minister in Gilead, Iowa, writes to his 7-year-old son in 1956, written so that one day the boy will know something about his father's life and character. In this passage, Reverend John Ames reflects on a moment from his own childhood. Now, this might seem a trivial thing to mention, considering the gravity of the subject, but I truly don't feel it is. We were very pious children from pious households in a fairly pious town, and this affected our behavior considerably. Once we baptized a litter of cats. It occurred to one of the girls to swaddle them up in a doll's dress. There was only one dress, which was just as well since the cats could hardly tolerate a moment in it and would have been unsaddled as soon as they were christened in any case. I myself moistened their brows, repeating the full Trinitarian formula. Their grim, old, crooked-tailed mother found us baptizing away by the creek and began carrying her babies off by the napes of their necks. We lost track of which was which, but we were fairly sure that some of the creatures had been borne away still in the darkness of paganism, and that worried us a great deal. I still remember how those warm little brows felt under the palm of my hand. Everyone has petted a cat, but to touch one like that, with the pure intention of blessing it, is a very different thing. It stays the mind. For years, we would wonder what, from a cosmic viewpoint, we had done to them. It still seems to me a real question. There is a reality in blessing. It doesn't enhance sacredness, but it acknowledges it, and there is a power in that. I have felt it pass through me, so to speak. The sensation is one of really knowing a creature. I mean, really feeling its mysterious life and your own mysterious life at the same time.
Thank you, Suzanne. Have you ever said something and then either immediately or sometime later thought, oops, that came out wrong, or that's not what I meant, or, well, that's not always true, is it? Please, a show of hands. Thank you. It's good to know I'm not alone. I had this experience in preparing today's service. For such a time as this, all that we have been through has prepared us for this moment. It sounded so profound, and I know I've seen it somewhere. It reminds me of the phrase, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? It's along that line. Well, I want to thank my life partner, reality checker, and resident editor for inviting me to rethink this premise. Notwithstanding the issue of multiple translations, sources of the phrase "for such a time as this" include reference to the book of Esther in the Hebrew Scriptures. There, King Xerxes, who was a bit of a flake, makes the lovely Jewish maiden Esther his queen. When a nobleman threatens to kill all the Jews in the kingdom, Esther's uncle Mordecai asks her to intervene. He suggests that perhaps she was made queen for just such a time as this. How that survived multiple translations, I don't know. But it was in this spirit that I chose this topic and selected for the order of service Carolyn Mahaffey's photo of me. Thank you, Carolyn. Standing in witness at a reproductive rights rally here in Midland. I thought of it as demonstrating that our collective experiences in resisting conservative extremism over the last 30 years has prepared us to meet the challenges of today. It is an empowering and reassuring concept, and may hold some truth in political contexts. But the more I thought about the premise that our lives have prepared us for this moment, the more I wondered. Pastorally speaking, even logically speaking, the idea is most likely true for those in the latter half of life, right? Who have experienced hardships and have survived to tell the tale. Not the young people experiencing things for the first time. It's a view that fails to take into account the terrible and tragic experiences we might have in the first half of life. The child who is raped, or whose parent dies, or who is displaced and forced to starve during war. Or the young parent whose child contracts cancer, or drowns in a bathtub, or is killed by police. What mishaps in life could possibly prepare us for experiences like these? So I continued to wonder, and I still wonder to this day. I began to wonder if perhaps the claim is more appropriately or more accurately true for some people than others. Who might rightly make such a claim? Black, indigenous, or other persons of color? People from historically marginalized, oppressed, or enslaved communities? Those who have suffered trauma for generations? I write these titles and blurbs a month or more in advance, trying to anticipate the issues that our congregation would benefit from discussing. In this case, I intended to invite us to take a deep breath before we jump into the regular church year and enter it confident that we have what we need I regret writing this title and description, except that it gives us an opportunity to examine our assumptions. This includes my assumption that all that we have been through is somehow universal. I try not to use absolute terms like all or nothing or always or never, because they don't allow for exceptions or complexity or subtlety. But I'd forgotten to unpack the word we, which is similarly complex. Who are we at any given time or in any given context? The depth and breadth of what we know and have experienced is beyond my imagining. But I do know that some of us have known poverty and homelessness, and some have not. Some have known the joys and struggles of parenthood, and some have not. Some have lived through the nightmare of abortion, and some have not. Some have struggled with chemical dependency or mental health, and some have not, or are in denial. Some have served in the military and risked their lives, and some have not. Some have enjoyed the privileges of being white and or male, and the privileges, the combined privileges of being both. But news flash, the vast majority of people in the world have not enjoyed those privileges. It would behoove all of us to remember the complexities of our identities and experiences, the inequities that some have faced more than others, and the systemic causes of those inequities. A more compelling truth, more universal truth, I think, than that life has prepared us for hardship is this. Though it may be hard to recognize or accept, you are not alone. As much as you may believe differently, you did not get where you are today by yourself. You need not bear hardship alone. I'm going to repeat that one. You need not bear hardship alone. And your daily experiences and choices influence the experiences and choices of other people every day. To one degree or another, we live in community and our lives are informed by the lives of others. We all know this up here. We sometimes forget it down here. You have never been, are not now, and need never be alone. Yesterday, we held a new member orientation session here. Yay. We talked a bit about our religious journeys and how we came to Unitarian Universalism. More than one person mentioned being drawn here by the implicit message that none of us alone has all the answers. That each of us is on a quest for truth and meaning, and that every one of us can learn something from one another. Whether it's how to be a better person, where to buy fresh plums, who a good author is on existentialism, where and when the next march or rally will be, and so on. This life-saving faith fosters humility, and curiosity and hope. Unitarian Universalism celebrates our intellectual, emotional, and spiritual insight, growth, and transformation. And so we ask questions like, what do we mean by we? Or, what is that growing in my garden? Or how can I support my friend, neighbor, coworker, relative who is struggling? Or who are the most vulnerable among us? How can we bear witness to their struggles and create systems to make it better? We ask these questions. It came out in yesterday's session that not everybody does. My experience alone may not prepare me for what is to come. But I'm not alone. And your experience might, and vice versa. So let's use the shared wisdom of what we know and have experienced to collectively build our future together. There is no other way. It is imperative in this coming year of rebuilding connections that we grow closer again. If not physically, then emotionally and spiritually. We again need to communicate what we know to one another. And we need to celebrate our interdependence. Marilyn Robinson, through her character in Gilead, described how the act of blessing a fellow creature doesn't enhance its sacredness, but simply acknowledges it. And this sensation of experiencing another life along with our own can be powerful. Parents and pet owners, farmers and gardeners among us might recognize this feeling. The benefits of blessing are reciprocal. As we give, we receive. May we so bless and be blessed by one another and the world. We don't need super magical powers to make a difference. Just kindness, bravery, and determination. As was said in today's prayer, may we trust ourselves to be the ones to find the words that need to be said, or do what needs doing. May we trust one another and know that there are many ways to go through life. May we understand that our mistakes are opportunities for reflection, growth, and change. I do believe in the words of Wendell Berry, that what we need is here. That we have right here all that we need to carry forth this faith and this congregation with wisdom, love, and justice. Perhaps we were made for just such a time as this. May it be so, and amen.
Thank you, Eric. In accordance with our values and the stirrings of our hearts, we now invite you to support the mission of this fellowship financially. The ushers will pass the plates among you. Please take a moment to write a check, to drop in loose change, or to make a note to donate online at uufom.org. Today is the final day of our special collection for Phoenix Community Farm, so please give generously. If you wish to pay toward your pledge with cash, envelopes are available to put your name on. Today's offertory music is a hummed reprise of What We Need Is Here. If you wish to join in, please redon your masks. Please know that your offering is greatly appreciated and gratefully received. Thank you.
Thank you. Please remain seated with your masks on to sing our closing hymn, number 374. It also is a short one to the tune of Old Hundredth, or the doxology. Since what we choose is what we are, and what we love we yet shall be, the goal may ever shine afar. The will to win it makes us free.
Thank you to all who made this service possible today, and thank you for joining us. After our closing words, we will have breakout rooms online, and our in-person guests are encouraged to stay for conversation and Sunday Fun Day refreshments. Thank you very much.
Our closing words are the poem on which our earlier hymn was based, The Wild Geese by Wendell Berry. Horseback on Sunday morning, harvest over, we taste persimmon and wild grape, sharp, sweet of summer's end. In time's maze over fall fields, we name names that went west from here, names that rest on graves. We open a persimmon seed to find the tree that stands in promise, pale in the seed's marrow. Geese appear high over us, pass, and the sky closes. Abandon, as in love or sleep, holds them to their way. Clear in the ancient faith, what we need is here. I invite you to read along with me the final two sentences on your screen and in your bulletin. And we pray not for new heaven, earth or heaven, but to be quiet in heart and in eye clear. What we need is here. Thank you all, and blessed be.